Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, and pranams to all of you. Thank you all very much for joining in for our Bhagavad Gita study session. Today we're going to start with chapter number 14. We'll start with the prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapatakamalam श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरदुषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तराले कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दिनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you all very much for joining in for our Bhagavad Gita session. Today we are starting chapter number 14. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So in our previous Bhagavad Gita session, we were talking about the 13th chapter, the nature, the enjoyer, and the consciousness, right? 6 subject matters we discussed: Nyayam, Nyayam, knowledge and object of knowledge, Prakriti and Purusha, the material nature, as well as the enjoyer, who's Purusha, as well as we also studied the Kshetra and Kshetrajna, right? Kshetra is the this the Adhishtanam, or this body or the place of work, and Kshetrajna, we also spoke about the two kinds of Kshetrajna. One is the Jiva, who's in control of his own body, and the other is the Kshetrajna, who's the witnesser, right? Who witnesses the activities of all the living entities, right? Upadrashta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. Oh, that is a verse we need to contemplate on this week, right? Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. He is a supreme person. He is a complete enjoyer. He is a supreme enjoyer, and he is also present as the super soul in everyone's heart, who is the sanctioner of all the activities and who also remains as a witness. So today we are going to study the 14th chapter, which is entitled "The Three Modes of Material Nature." Right here, there's going to be a very very clear understanding where where Krishna, of course, is going to talk about charity in the mode of goodness, charity in the mode of passion, charity in the mode of ignorance, knowledge in the mode of like everything. All the parameters will be evaluated. What is it when it is performed in the mode of goodness? What is it when it is performed in the mode of passion? And what is it when it is performed in the mode of ignorance? Right? So we can also evaluate ourselves as we study this chapter. Which mode are we predominant in? Right? Nobody is completely in the Shuddha Sattvic platform, because otherwise we'll not be in the material world. And nobody is completely nobody is also completely in the in the platform of Tamoguna or Rajoguna or Satvaguna, right? Because when we go to sleep, we are in the mode of ignorance, that we forget everything, right? Early morning is said to be in the mode of Sattva, right? Apart from that, our qualities are also characterized by the time, right? Early morning, it is easy to be in Sattva Guna. In the night, it is we were more likely to be in Tamoguna, right? We're almost about to sleep. Sleep means here it refers to ignorance, right? At the time of sleep, we don't remember anything. We don't remember who we are, right? It's like an unconscious state, right? Sometimes we remember the dreams and all, but then it is typically Tamoguna. And when we go to office, right, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the entire day begins. When the day begins, it becomes more passionate. I want to go out, I want to achieve things, I want to do this, I want to do that. That is in the mode of passion. So let's go ahead and study what Krishna is detailing in this chapter, chapter 14, as the three modes of material nature, and the very beautiful explanation by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada actually describes the various qualities also. So let's go ahead and study this. Devotees would like to read, can raise your hands, and then we'll quickly go ahead. Okay, Deval Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, yes.
Text 1. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshyami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñatva Munaya Sarve Param Siddhim Mito Gataha. Synonyms. Shri Bhagavanuvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Param Transcendental, Bhuyaha, again, Pravakshami, I shall speak, Jnananam, of all knowledge, Jnanam, knowledge, Uttamam, the supreme, Yat, which, Jnatva, knowing, Munayaha, the sages, Sarve, all, Param, transcendental, Siddhim, perfection, Itaha, from this world, Gataha, attained. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Purport. From the 17th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, from the 7th chapter to the end of the 12th chapter, Sri Krishna in detail reveals the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, the Lord Himself is further enlightening Arjuna. If one understands this chapter through the process of philosophical speculation, he will come to an understanding of devotional service. In the 13th chapter, it was clearly explained that by humbly developing knowledge, one may possibly be freed from material entanglement. It has also been explained that it is due to association with the modes of nature that the living entity is entangled in this material world. Now, in this chapter, the Supreme Personality explains what those modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. The knowledge explained in this chapter is proclaimed by the Supreme Lord to be superior to the knowledge given so far in other chapters. By understanding this knowledge, various great sages attained perfection and transferred to the spiritual world. The Lord now explains the same knowledge in a better way. This knowledge is far, far superior to all other processes of knowledge, thus far explained, and knowing this many attained perfection. Thus, it is expected that one who understands this 14th chapter will attain perfection. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. So whatever knowledge is already given, 7 to 12 actually contains the essence of Bhagavad Gita. We already described that the middle 6 chapters are the essence, is the jewel of Bhagavad Gita. First 6 chapters talk about Karma Yoga, last 6 chapters talk about Jnana Yoga or Sankhya Yoga, which was also described by Krishna in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So here, what is this knowledge? This knowledge actually helps us advance in devotional service. Why? Because Srila Prabhupada also says that Sattva Guna is the platform from which we can jump over to Shuddha Sattva faster and easier, right? Because we are already situated with the Brahminical qualities, then it becomes easy to understand Krishna, right? Yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunays tatra samasate sura harava bhaktyasya guto mahan guna manoratena sati davato bahihi, right? If we simply possess good qualities but we don't if we don't follow the path of bhakti, then it is useless. But if we simply engage in the process of devotional service, then automatically we'll be situated in Sattva Guna, minimum Sattva Guna, and we will transcend the Sattva Guna also and reach Shuddha Sattva platform. So in this way, here it is a description of the kind of things that we need to avoid. If we need to be in Sattvic platform, what are the things that we need to avoid? And if you're already in Sattva Guna, then how can we jump over Sattva Guna to actually reach the Shuddha Sattva platform? But it is not necessary that you have to go from Tamoguna to Rajoguna, then to Sattva, then only to Shuddha Sattva. That's why it is said, Yasyasya bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunes tatra samasati sura. If we simply engage in bhakti, all of these good qualities will already automatically manifest in us. So we'll automatically come to Sattva Guna. And by the practice of sadhana, we'll automatically reach the Shuddha Sattva state. But we should know what are the qualities we need to have, what are the qualities in us that we need to give up or we need to reduce in ourselves, so as to at least move to the platform of Sattva Guna. So let's move ahead and see what is knowledge in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, Karpagavali Mataji, go ahead. Text 2.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Text 2. Idam jnanam upastriya mama sadarmanam agataya sarge api nyo upayante pralayana vayan tadicha. Idam, this jnanam, knowledge, upastriya, taking shelter of mama, my sadarmayam, the same nature, agata, having attained, sargi api, even in the creation, na, never, upajayanti, are born, upajante, are born, playe, in the annihilation, na, nor, vayantanti, are disturbed, cha, also, vayanti, vayatanti, are disturbed, cha, also. Translation: by becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature by my own. Thus established, one is not born at that time of creation, nor or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Purport by Prabhupada KJ. After acquiring perfect transcendental knowledge, one acquires qualitative equality with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, becoming free from the repetition of birth and death. One does not, however, lose his identity as an individual soul. It is understood from the Vedic literature that the liberated souls who have reached the transcendental planets of the spiritual sky always look to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, being engaged in his transcendental loving service. So even after liberation, the devotees do not lose their individual identities. Generally, in the material world, whatever knowledge we get is contaminated with the three modes of material nature. A knowledge which is not contaminated by the three modes of nature is called transcendental knowledge. As soon as one is situated at that transcendental knowledge, he is on the same platform as a Supreme Person. Those who have no knowledge of the spiritual sky hold that after being freed from the material activities of the material form, this spiritual identity becomes formless without any variegatedness. However, just as there is material variegatedness in this world, in the spiritual world, there is also variegatedness. Those in ignorance of this think that the spiritual existence is opposed to material variety. But actually, in the spiritual sky, one attains a spiritual form. There are spiritual activities, and the spiritual situation is called the devotional life. That atmosphere is said to be uncontaminated, and there is one equal, and there is one is equal in quality with the Supreme Lord. To obtain such knowledge, one must develop all the spiritual qualities. One who thus develops the spiritual qualities is not affected either by the creation nor by the destruction of the material world. Thank you, Mataji. Dandatnam.
Thank you, Dandat Pranam. So, how is one person who has developed all these spiritual qualities not affected either at the time of creation or the time of annihilation? It's because that person will go back home, back to Godhead. So, that spiritual world, which is the 3/4 of the creation, is not annihilated, is neither created because it's eternal. It is only this 1/4 of the creation of the Lord, which is called the material world, which is periodically annihilated and created. And the secondary creation, everything happens, right? We all know how the glance happens, and then the Mahatattva is created, and then by the glance of Vishnu, how the impregnation happens, universes are created, and then how the jivas, according to their past karmas, according to their past activities, they get their respective bodies, right? But when the one has no material desires, one simply has spiritual desires of serving Guru and Gauranga, then one gets transported to the spiritual world, by which he need not be bothered about when is the material world created or annihilated, because he has got nothing to do with this material world, because he is already reaching the spiritual world, like that. All right, let's go ahead to text number 3. Who will read? Okay, Rajneesh Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhu.
Mam yonirmahat brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyam sambhava sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharat. synonyms. Mama, my unit, source of birth. Mahat, the total material existence. Brahma, supreme. Tasmin, in that. Garbham, pregnancy. Tadhami, create. Aham, I. Sambhava, the possibility. Sarvabhutaram, of all living entities. Tatah, thereafter. Bhavati, becomes. Bhavati becomes. Bharat, O son of Bharat. Translation and purport by Shri Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. The total material, the total material substance called Brahman is source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Purport: this is an explanation of the word. Everything that takes place is due to combination of Kshetra and Kshetra Gyan, the body and the spirit soul. This combination of material nature and the living entity is made possible by the Supreme God Himself. The Mahatattva is the total cause of total cosmic manifestation, and that total substance of the material cause, in which there are three modes of nature, is sometimes called Brahman. The Supreme Personality impregnates the total substance, and thus innumerable universes become possible. This total material substance, the Mahatattva, is described as Brahman in the Vedic literature. Mundak Upanishad 1.1.19 Tasmad Pitat Brahm Nama Rupam
Smadetat Brahma
Anam
Nama Rupam Annam Cha Jayate.
Annam Sujayate. The Supreme Person impregnates that Brahman with the seeds of the living entities, the 24 elements beginning from earth, water, fire, and air are all material energy, and they constitute what is called Mahat Brahm, or the great Brahman, the material nature. As explained in 7th chapter, beyond this there is another superior nature, the living entity. Into material nature, the superior nature is mixed by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thereafter all living entities are born of this material nature. The, the scorpion lays its eggs in the piles of rice, and sometimes it is said that scorpion is born out of rice. But the rice is not the cause of scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of living entities. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of material nature. Thus, every living entity, according to his past activities, has a different body created by this material nature, so that the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. The Lord is the cause of all the manifestations of living entities in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Purushaha prakritasto hi bhunte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sad asad yoni janmishu. Right? We studied this verse as part of our discussion on the 13th chapter also. Right? Purushaha prakritisto hi. Purushaha means living entity. Prakritasto hi, that means the living entity is trying to exploit the material nature, thinking that I'm the superior nature, so I will utilize everything that is there in the material nature for my own sense gratification or for my satisfaction of purpose. Right? Purusha prakriti stoki bhumte. Bhumte means trying to enjoy. Prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya. Why are we trying to do it? Right? A person in the sattvic mode, may utilize everything in a sattvic way. That means he will utilize it for a sense gratification, but according to the Vedic rituals, according to the Vedic prescriptions, what is given. right? Whereas a Rajasic person may utilize it according to his passion, whatever he wants to achieve. He will utilize the material nature in a way that fulfills his own sense desire, sense gratification. Similarly, Tamoguna, a person will also utilize. So, all the three categories, they utilize Bhumte Prakriti Jan Gunan Karanam Guna Sangasya. According to the material modes they are in, they will all try to utilize the material nature or Prakriti to use it for their own sense gratification. Sat Asad Yoni Janmashu. That means if you're utilizing it in a sattvic, they will get a Sat. Sat means what? Somebody whose consciousness is evolved, like a human being. Right? Otherwise, one goes, if one is continuously into Rajoguna or even more importantly Tamoguna, then what happens? One gets a body which is equal to probably the polar bear is in Antarctica, maybe. Half the time it is cold, there is no sun, they sleep, right? So in that way, they are completely in Tamoguna, right? So Karanam Guna Sangasya Sad Asad Yoni Janmashu. According to our desires and activities that we perform, we will get our next body, and that will actually relate to whatever we wanted to attain in this particular lifetime. According to that, we will get a body which will be suitable. Like for example, somebody is very addicted to eating everything. Probably the one may get a body of a pig, right? To eat stool, to eat any garbage that is available, right? So if we make our consciousness as like an animal, then we will get that particular animal's body, right? According to our interests, what do we want to do, right? So in that way, we prepare ourselves for the next body. Although we are trying to exploit the material nature, our next body depends on what we are doing in this body. Secondly, if we are in the sattvic mode also, if we're trying to exploit, then we'll again be born in a sattvic mode. But the other day, as we were explaining, right, being born as a Brahmana, life after life after life is not a great thing. Why? Because you still have to go through Janma, Mrityu, Jara, and Vyadhi. So the best recourse is to get out of this material world, right? Get out of this 8.4 million species, out of which 400,000 is human species, right? There's nothing great about the human species also, because they are also subject to the same birth, death, disease, and old age. And they also perform the same thing. What is that? Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maitunam, right? Only that they do it in a very sophisticated way, and they do it in a complex way. Whereas a dog on the road also does all the four things, but it does it in a very raw way, or maybe on the road, isn't it? Does not make, just because you're doing it in a more complex or a more sophisticated way, does not make us any better than animals. As long as dharmo eko adhiko vishesho. As long if you are practicing religious dharma, if you are practicing a religion or dharma or the essential occupation of a living entity, which is to inquire about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that distinguishes us between human beings and animals. All right, let's go forward. Okay, text number 4. Yeah, who'll read? Okay, Sudha Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam. Pranam. सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तय सम्भवन्ति या तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिर् अहं बीज प्रदपिता. Synonyms. Sarvayonishu, in all species of life. Kaunteya, O son of Kunti. Murtaya, forms. Sambhavanti, they appear. Ya, which. Tasam, of all of them. Brahma, the supreme. Mahatyoni, source of birth in the material substance. Aham, I. Bija Prada, the seed giving father, Pita, father. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the original father of all living entities. The living entities are combinations of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma is situated. Everywhere there are living entities. Within the earth, there are living entities, even within water and within fire. All these appearances are due to the mother, material nature, and Krishna's seed-giving process. The purport is that the material world is impregnated with living entities who come out in various forms at the time of creation according to their past deeds.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Brahma Bhona Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. So whether we are in the Brahma Loka or we are in the Bhuloka or whether in the Patala Loka, right? As long as we are in the lower 7 planetary systems or in the upper 7 planetary systems, we will not incur any karma. We will only exhaust our karmas. If we lived in a very pious way, if we've given a lot of charity, then what happens? We will get a body which will either as a Gandharva or in the Gandharva Loka or in the Brahma Loka, right? In that way, we will exhaust all of our pious credits little by little. As we enjoy, we slowly we reduce the pious credits that we have. And then what happens? We come back to the earthly planet, and then again and again we do more karmas. And then if you do negative karma, sinful actions, then what happens? We'll go to the lower planetary systems where we will slowly will exhaust the negative and sinful reactions by suffering. Right? By suffering in the lower planetary systems, we will again exhaust. But finally, we have to come to the earthly planet. It is only feasible to go back to Godhead from the earthly planet, because here only the happiness and sadness, the happiness and misery are equally distributed, so that we can have that frame of mind that I want to go out of this material world. Otherwise, there is too much suffering. We're drowning in suffering in the lower 7 planets. We don't have any inclination to go anywhere else. We just want to get done with the suffering. In the higher planets, there's too much enjoyment that we are not able to think of Lord, right? But it is said, Prabhupada explains that this earthly planet is so much filled with adequate amount of happiness and distress. When we're distressed, we look up to the Lord. Oh Lord, please help me. And then when there is absence of distress, that's what we deem as happiness. And then we are enjoying, right? At the same time, the next suffering is just on the anvil. It comes, and then again we are thinking of the Lord. Oh Lord, help me, protect me, right? So in this way, we are always matra sparshastu kaunteya sito ushnastu dukada agama painu anityastam satikshva bharata. In this material world, happiness and suffering will come turn after turn, one after another. So dhiras tatra muyati. Whereas a devotee, what he will do, he is not bewildered by such change of material environment, such change of material climate, right? If we can say, right, happiness and distress, heat and cold, etc., they will all come and go. But how do I react to those situations now will determine my future destination. All right, let's go ahead. All right, today now we are on text number 5. Okay, who's reading text number 5? Okay. Let me read. Okay, some problem with my laptop, I guess. Okay, yeah. Sattvam rajas tama iti. Okay, there's some internet issue, so let me know if I'm not audible. Sattvam rajas tama iti guna prakriti sambhavah nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Sattvam, the mode of goodness; rajaha, the mode of passion; tamaha, the mode of ignorance; iti, thus; gunaha, the qualities; prakriti, material nature; sambhavaha, produced of; nibadhanti, do condition; mahabaho, O mighty armed one; dehe, in this body; dehinam, the living entity; avyayam, eternal. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. The living entity, because he is transcendental, has nothing to do with his material nature. Still, because he has become conditioned by the material world, he is acting under the spell of the 3 modes of material nature. Because living entities have different kinds of bodies, in terms of different aspects of nature, they are induced to act according to that nature. This is the cause of the varieties of happiness and distress. So Prabhupada explains in one lecture how a pig, if it's given nice pineapple halwa and stool, right, the pig will think, oh, what a fortune, I have got nice stool, right? It will discard, kick away the nice pineapple halwa and eat the stool. So whatever body we are acquiring because of our past deeds and activities, we will have to act according to the body that we've got. If we've got the body of a pig, we cannot behave in any other way other than being a pig, being in the pig's consciousness. What is pig's consciousness? To eat stool, right? So as simple as that. So we have to be very careful. What are the decisions I'm making now? What are my desires? What am I aspiring for? Because all of those things is going to determine my next body. After which I will be conditioned to behave according to the body that I have acquired by the 3 modes of material nature, like that. All right, text number 6. Okay, now Kishori Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam.
Text number 6. Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatva Prakashakamanamaya Sukha Sangena Badnati Gnana Sangena Va Chagana Chanaga. Sorry, Hare Krishna.
Chanaga.
Yes, Mataji. Cinnamon. Tatra there Sattvam, the mode of goodness, Nirmalavata, being purest in the material world, Prakashakam, illuminating, Anandamayam, Anandamayam without any sinful reaction. Sorry, Mataji. Oh, sorry. Anamayam. Sorry. Anamayam without any sinful reaction. So, Sukha with happiness. Sangena by association. Badnati conditions. Gnana without with knowledge. Sangena by association. Cha also. Anga, oh sinful one. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mataji, I can see. Will you? Thank you. Oh, sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is emulating, and if it frees one from all sinful reactions, those situated in that mode became conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Purport: the living entities conditions by material nature are of various types. One is happy, another is very active, and another is helpless. So all these types of psychological manifestation are cause of the entities condition status in nature. How they are differently conditioned is explained in this section of Bhagavad Gita. The mode of goodness is first considered. The effect of developing the mode of goodness in the material world is that one becomes wiser than those otherwise conditioned. A man is in the mode of goodness is not so much affected by material miseries, and he has a sense of advancement in the material knowledge. The representative type is the Brahmana, who is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness. This sense of happiness is due to understanding that in the mode of goodness, one is more or less free from sinful reactions. Actually, in the Vedic literature, it is said that the mode of goodness means a greater knowledge and a greater sense of happiness. The difficulty here is that when a living entity is situated in the mode of goodness, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. In this way, he becomes conditioned. The best examples are the scientist and the philosopher. Each is very proud of his knowledge, and because they generally improve their living conditions, they feel a sort of material happiness. This sense of advanced happiness is conditioned life makes them bound by the mode of goodness of material nature. As such, they are attracted towards working in the mode of goodness, and as long as they have an attraction for working in that way, they have to take some type of body in the mode of nature. Thus, there is no likelihood of liberation or of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, or a poet, and repeatedly become entangled in the same disadvantages of birth and death. But due to the illusion of material energy, one thinks that sort of life is pleasant. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yeah, so we've studied this earlier also, isn't it? That people in the mode of goodness, they are conditioned by happiness and satisfaction, right? Because they're not unduly eager to get a lot of money. They're not greedy. They're simply happy with whatever they get, and they are more induced in giving and studying the shastras and giving the shastric knowledge to others. They perform yajnas, etc. Right? But these people who perform all of these, who are in the sattvic mode and performing all of these activities, if they don't jump up to the level of Shuddha Sattva, then what happens? They become conditioned by that particular mode, and life after life, they'll be taking that particular birth as they'll be taking that particular birth either as either as born in a Brahminical family or born in a family with good moral values, etc., where they display a lot of good qualities like giving charity, studying Vedic scriptures, singing nice melodious bhajans, etc. In such cases, they have all of these sattvic qualities, but unfortunately, okay, there's some internet issue. I hope you are all able to hear me. Just 1 second. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah. So yeah, sorry, yeah, we got it. Okay, so I was just saying that those who are Brahmanas, right? Those who are Brahmanas who are attached to Sattvic mode, right? They continue to be born in that particular Sattvic mode, life after life after life. And in which case, what happens? They are happy, they are satisfied in compared to others, but they will not get the happiness of going back home, back to Godhead, right? Because otherwise, there is no happiness in this material world, right? If we are simply happy by being satisfied, getting the the food, clothing, and being satisfied with whatever we get, all of that is very good. Unnecessarily, we don't impose a lot of misery on us, on ourselves, right? When we want more and more and more, then even in this world we cannot be happy. But if you are satisfied with whatever we get, we understand that whatever is my quota, whatever I am deserved according to my past karmas and my past desires, I'm getting that much, and I'm self-satisfied with whatever I get. I live within my means, right? In all those cases, it is said to be sattvic qualities, right? I'm happy, I'm satisfied. But then this amount of this satisfaction also will not stay forever, right? Today I may get what I want, even if I get meager amount, right? If I get whatever I want, I'm satisfied, right? But if I don't get anything, then also I may be of the mode that I'm acceptable to even that condition, that I don't have anything, right? I'm fasting for maybe 4 days, right? But that does not also make me Shuddha Sattvic, right? Just because I'm doing too much austerity, I don't have food, I'm living to tolerate any condition, that does not actually make me progress in spiritual life, right? Austerities help us to advance in spiritual life only when it is prescribed in the Shastras and we do it voluntarily. Just because I don't have anything to eat, if I think, okay, and let me do austerity, let me not eat, that may increase your vairagya, that may increase your detachment with the material world, but it will not contribute towards your attraction towards Krishna, because that attraction towards Krishna is what will take us back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, detachment with this material world, thinking that nothing is permanent, I'm going to get detached with everything, right, will again bring you back to this material world. As long as we don't develop attraction for Krishna, we cannot get away from this material world. Okay, last verse for today. Let's study this text number 7. Sindhu Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, pranams Mataji. Verse sloka 7. Rajoragatmakam viddhi Krishna sanga samudbhavam tannibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Synonyms: Rajaha, the mode of passion; Ragatmakam, born of desire or lust; Viddhi, know; Trishna, with hankering; Sangha, association; Samudbhavam, produced of; that; Nibadnati, binds; Kaunteya, O son of Kunti; Karma Sangena, by association with fruitive activity; Dehinam, the embodied. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. For what? The mode of passion is characterized by the attraction between man and women. Women has attraction for man and man has attraction for women. This is called the mode of passion. And when the mode of passion is increased, one develops the hankering for material enjoyment. He wants to enjoy the sense gratification. For sense gratification, a man in the mode of passion wants some honor in the society or in the nation, and he wants to have a happy family with nice children, wife, and house. These are the products of the mode of passion. As long as one is hankering after these things, he has to work very hard. Therefore, it is clearly stated that he becomes associated with the fruits of his activities and thus becomes bound by such activities. In order to please his wife, children, and society, and to keep up his prestige, one has to work. Therefore, the whole material world is more or less in the mode of passion. Modern civilization is considered to be advanced in the standard of mode of passion. Formerly, the advanced condition was considered to be in the mode of goodness. If there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, what to speak of those who are entangled in the mode of passion? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here, what is the mode of passion? Mode of passion is not being satisfied. I want more. Yedil mange, more, isn't it? So we want more money, we want more power, we want a better job, we want a 4 BHK, we want a 5 BHK. Like that, the desire is endless. The greed is so much, right? But in the mode of passion, one thing what we can do is if we can dovetail our laulyam or our greed in the service of the Lord, because most of us are passionate in whatever we do. If we simply dovetail our activities or our desires in the service of the Lord, then automatically we will be able to develop that laulyam to hear Krishna Katha, to serve Krishna, to engage in devotional service, and that leads to Krishna Akarshani. It leads to attracting Krishna. Right? Krishna is attracted when somebody is so much passionately wants to render devotional service. Come what may, I want to render devotional service to the Lord. So the Lord gets attracted by somebody's laulyam or intense desire to please the Lord. Right? So people who are in the mode of passion. I also see myself in mode of passion most of the time. So what we can do is we have to dovetail such propensity, right? We want to do this, we want to achieve this, right? Everything we have to dovetail in the service of Guru and Gauranga. I want to achieve this for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. I want to do this for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. In that way, we dovetail our desires and our activities in the service of the Lord, then it becomes a karma. And then we are not going to be bound by the reactions of that particular work that we are doing, even though it seems that it is in the mode of passion. Prabhupada talks about a very beautiful example in one of his lectures. He's saying if one tries to build a big mansion for himself, that is in the mode of passion. But if the person takes the same amount of anxiety to build a beautiful temple for the Lord, then that is said to be in the mode of Shuddha Sattva. Why? Because that is for the pleasure of the Lord, where everybody is serving together to collect funds, to decorate the deities, to procure the deities, to serve the deities, to clean the temple hall. So if a person is passionate to serve or build a beautiful temple for the Lord, serve the Lord, decorate the Lord very beautifully, then that becomes the perfection of life. Because we want to utilize all of our energies. It's also given to us by the Lord. Whatever energy we have, whatever enthusiasm we have, whatever we can muster, everything is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and has to be rightfully used in the service of the Lord, in the service of Guru and Gauranga, isn't it? And when we do that, the quality of passion itself becomes the way or becomes the path or becomes the process by which we can attain the Shuddha Sattvic platform. So with this, we will end today. Tomorrow, we will continue from text number 8 of chapter number 14 of Bhagavad Gita. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai. So we will do Harinam Sankirtan. Devotees can switch on your cameras, and then we will take a darshan of all the devotees, and then we'll end. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataka Swamini Namo Jaya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradhaine Gaur Katha Damadaya Nagar Gramo Darine विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादिशधारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय गौर निताय जय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमा जय सुदर्शन जय बाल गोपाल जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा रास बिहारी जय गोविंद जय राधा गोविंद जय राधा गोपीनाथ जय राधा मदन मोहन जय राधा वृंदावन चंद्र राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा माधव श्री राधे जय राधे 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 श्री राधे जय जय प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि नाम प्रभु की जय कलियुग पावन हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय सामवेद गौर भक्तविंद की जय All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories. Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava, Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So I can see Sindhu Mataji, Rajneesh Prabhu, Shubhangi Keshvi Mataji, Harjeet Mataji, Namish Prabhu. Thank you all very much for joining in. Harini Mataji has joined us. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for joining in. Nisha Mataji has joined us. Thank you. Karpavali Mataji has joined us. Thank you all very much for your wonderful darshan. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Shri Gurudev ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. So we'll meet you all tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. for our Brahma Muhurta chanting session. So until then, happy chanting, happy studying Srila Prabhupada's books, and we'll meet you all tomorrow. Pallavi Mataji is also joining. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.